Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2021, the album, Dad AF. Hey little thing, let me light your candle, cause rock on gold dust woman. That didn't really work, did it, as a mega mix? Oh well. Every rose has its thorn. And that's the truth too. How are you guys doing today? Happy Tuesday. Listen, we're gonna get right into the drama here in a second because I have a lot to say. I have 14 points typed today. I typed them out. I'm like a professional now. Can you even believe it? I typed it over there and then I printed it out. I was like, oh my God, I feel so professional. But I'm going to get right into the drama because, first of all, I have a lot to do today. I have a couple videos to make before I leave to go to my home group meeting tonight, my home group meeting for my 12-step program. But today is my 5-year anniversary on BookTube, which is kind of where it all started. It started right over there with me making a video 5 years ago today. And I can remember sitting there and I was like, oh, I want to wait until I've lost like 50 or 60 pounds. And I was like, you know what? That's not going to happen anytime soon. So just sit down and make a video. And I was so nervous and I'm so happy that I did. And for anybody out there that's thinking about starting a YouTube channel, just do it. Whatever you're passionate about, just do it. Because it has been such an amazing journey. It's such a magical journey. And I get to get up every single day and do something that I absolutely love. And I just feel so blessed to be a part of YouTube. So thank you for watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. All right, I want to give 2 birthday shout-outs really, really quick, and then we'll save the rest for later in the week. But the first one, his name is Mito, and he is from Sudan, and it is his birthday today, and he has sent me several messages about this, so I wanted to make sure that I got a birthday shout-out for him. He said, hey, Peter, my name is Mito, pronounced Mito, and I'm from Sudan. My birthday is on the 11th, and it will make my year to get a shout-out from you. I love watching your videos every single day. They make me so happy. Love you the most. So thank you, Mito, and happy birthday to you. And then the other one is from Taylor. Taylor reached out to me and said, hi Peter, today is my 23rd birthday. Oh my God, happy birthday, Taylor. She said, I also just graduated from college on Saturday. I've been watching your videos for 3 years now and you give me some much needed positivity and perspective in my day. So happy birthday and congratulations to you, Taylor. Okay, now let's get into, I need some lip gloss today. Did you see Manny MUA shaved his beard? It looks nice, doesn't it? Now everybody's like, you should shave your beard. No, we're not doing all that, okay? Just because Manny did it. If Manny jumped off a bridge, no, I wouldn't. So listen, I'm not shaving my beard anytime soon. All right, let's get into today's drama. So, last night, James Charles posted a video statement that's like 7 minutes and 40-some seconds long, I think, on the Twitter, and everybody was going crazy, okay? And I was like sitting there watching this thing. I was like, what am I watching? My Lord, this whole statement. So I typed up, I felt so professional doing this. I did it over there on my computer. Family friendly. Now, I typed it, not did it. But on the computer over there, I typed up, I have 14 points that I want to talk about. I've watched several drama commentary, T-channel, whatever you want to call them, videos. I think mine's the last one to get up. I'm covering this story. Some included the video footage, some did not. I am going to include the video footage for you guys to see. If you want to fast forward through it, I'm totally fine with that. If you want to just watch part of it, that's cool. Hey, you do you. You do. I'm not like you're like we usually do. I know. But I'm just including it for those of you that haven't seen it. That way, it'll give you some context, okay? So I'm going to include it right now.
Hello everybody, James here. I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well as well. I really miss you guys. Don't worry, this is not my return to social media. But unfortunately, I am logging in today because I feel as though I am being cornered and have to make yet another public statement. I know people are sick of these. I don't blame you. I'm not even going to bother writing out like a whole notes app thing today. I'm just going to hit record and start talking to you guys one-on-one because there's a lot that I want to talk about and hopefully whoever wants to listen can just listen. As you guys know, for the past couple of weeks, I have obviously been offline. I've been taking time away to learn, to reflect, to talk to professionals, and most importantly, to try to help better the situation that happened recently in any way that I possibly can. I've been quiet online, but things behind the scenes have not been so quiet. There's a lot going on, and I currently feel as though the situation that I was in is being taken advantage of, and I feel as though I'm being blackmailed, which is why I wanted to film this video today. For those who are not aware, for the last 2 years now, I've been dealing with an ongoing lawsuit from one of my previous employees. This is something that I have never spoken about, I've never mentioned, because I wanted to keep it private out of respect for her, and the fact that it's literally an ongoing litigation. But she is now speaking about it, which is just perfect time considering everything else that's going on. Basically, when I was 18, I moved to LA. I was living in my downtown apartment, as you guys know, and my YouTube channel was just starting to take off. I was filming and editing 3 videos a week by myself for my channel, and I really just wanted help, so I hired an editor. This person worked for me and then was later promoted to my producer, which means she was no longer editing. She was helping me film videos and was like my right-hand person for a salary of $72,000 a year. She only worked for me for about 6 months and then was let go, and now I am being sued. The suit is all online. You can read through it if you really want to, but it basically alleges that she was wrongfully terminated, overworked, and underpaid, all of which are untrue. I have a very, very small team. I've always had a small team. There are not many ex-employees because most of my team members have been with me for a really long time now. My team is like family to me. I love them all so much. You guys know a lot of them from being in the background of my YouTube videos, and I stand behind the fact that they are very, very well taken care of. The fact that this is like even attempting to become a narrative makes me feel like sick to my stomach because it is wildly, wildly untrue, and I am so grateful for the people around me. The case also kind of makes it seem like she's just trying to get back like the wages that she feels like she should have been paid for her work, which I wish were the truth, because in reality, this suit is actually for hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're not familiar with cases like this, they're unfortunately pretty common in like the entertainment industry, but they usually don't actually make it to court, which may sound weird, but it's for 2 different reasons. The first one being they are ridiculously long. This was filed 2 years ago. People are only finding out about it like now, but we are not even close to getting an actual court date yet. So it is a long, long process and quite a headache. Because it's so long, reason number 2 is it gets really, really expensive really fast for the defendant, which in this case is myself. So most of the time the defendant will settle, which basically means paying an amount of money to the person making the suit to just drop it and move on. And I'm not going to act like this was not an option for me. Settling is oftentimes a good option, a smarter option, because it's faster, it's cheaper, and it's a lot less of a headache. She is suing me. She has sued other YouTubers in the past. She was bragging on Twitter about how she just settled another case recently, so this is clearly a thing. But settling is no longer an option that's on the table, and I'm going to tell you why. This past week, I was reached out to for comment about a news article that is coming soon, and I learned that she is talking to the press about this lawsuit and what it was like to work for me as an employee. However, she's adding a ton of absolutely ridiculous, absurd, untrue, defamatory, just the craziest claims you could ever imagine. And in my opinion, it's an attempt to pressure me into making a much, much higher settlement offer. Once again, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. These claims range everything from I was so lazy, she had to force me to get out of my bed and brush my teeth, and without her, I would have never made a single video or a single dollar. But also things much more serious and disgusting, such as that I used to say the N-word around her all the time. This is just perfect, convenient timing as well, considering this past weekend, my old Twitter account, which I have not accessed since 2016 and only has 1 tweet, I guess was hacked last year, and the hacker publicly tweeted somebody the N-word, and people actually thought that it was me. The worst part about all of this, though, is that if I were, in some universe, to make this ungodly amount of settlement money, if I was to pay it, I'm sure a lot of you are smart enough to take a guess as to what would happen to these claims. They would be retracted and they would magically go away. I can believe this. I shouldn't say that. I just don't want to believe this. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. This is just disgusting. I know that my lawyer has been like a topic of conversation, a meme, a part of my internet persona for a while now, and I get it. But contrary to popular belief, I have never, ever paid anybody to speak or to not speak about me, and this will not be the first time that I do it. It just won't. And unfortunately, at this point, my only option is to pursue this to the fullest extent of the law and hope that one day, whenever it does get to a courtroom in the future, justice will be served. The problem, though, and why I'm making this video today, is because until that happens one day, we are dealing with the court of public opinion, which is a very, very different situation. And it's a court that is not on my side right now, which is just frustrating because, like I mentioned earlier, I feel as though this is all just to pressure me. There has been 2 years of timed opportunity to speak about any of this stuff. But now it's happening, and now we're going to the press, and now we're doing this back and forth. it just it feels so wrong to me. I wanted to make this video today to give anybody who may care and any of my followers some sort of background, some sort of explanation, some sort of insight into what's actually happening behind the scenes, because it's crazy. And I don't want this article to come out and just blindside people, because it is going to come out. And when it does, I know that it's going to be bad. And I totally understand that people are going to think whatever they want to, regardless of what I say, regardless of what receipts, screenshots, legal documents that I pull. And that's okay. That's, you know, everyone has a right to their opinion. I just want to give some sort of explanation so you guys know, and hopefully you're able to see this and what's happening here for what it really is. I am sorry to my followers. I'm sorry that you're going to have to see this. I'm sorry that you've had to see everything that's happening over the past couple of weeks, because it is so frustrating and it's so embarrassing. But there's not much that I can do, and there's not much that am able to say about this either. All I can hope and pray is that one day justice is served and you guys are able to see me for who I really am and this situation for what it really is. That's all that I can hope. But until then, I guess I just have to wait patiently and just, you know, come back when time is right. And I don't know, I'm rambling at this point, but if you made it all the way through, thank you for watching. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I love you and I hope you're having a good day. Bye.
Woo! That was a lot, wasn't it? Okay, so first of all, he comes out and he says this is not his return to social media. Well, I'm not really sure what James considers a 7-minute video on Twitter. That's a return to social media, James. You know what I mean? Like, you can put a pig in a dress, but it's still just a pig. I'm just saying, okay? You can call it whatever you want to call it. But if you post a statement on Twitter, yes, it is a return to social media, even if it's just for a day, okay? So anyway, that kind of, like, cracked me up a little bit. I don't know, you guys. I'm so, like, I feel like this is the thing, is I felt like, and I'm just going to say my 2 cents about this, and then I'll get into my different points that I have. I felt like James came across as very angry that he had to come out and make this statement, which is always how James comes across. Like, very bothered, very angry that he has to make these statements, right? Like, you know, he said that he knows other people are tired of hearing these statements too and whatever. It's like, I have to put out this statement. You had to put out this statement. No, you didn't have to. You chose to, okay? And so then it kind of makes you go back and reflect upon his last statements that he's made. And it's like, did you feel like you had to put those out too? Like, you were so bothered that you had to put those out? So his whole tone of this whole thing kind of seemed to me like he was a little, like put off about it. Like, not, you know, it just seemed angry to me. Like, he just was like, I can't believe I have to do this again kind of thing. Well, I'm sorry, you know, that you're so problematic that you have to come out with these statements every, you know, 3rd Tuesday or something like that. I'm sorry. But that's kind of a little bit what goes along when you're a public figure of the level that you are, and then you choose to engage yourself in these problematic situations. That's part of what goes along with that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was the first thing I wanted to say. He just seems kind of off-put. He seems like he is, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't speak today. He seems just pissed that he has to make this kind of thing. I will say, other than that, it seems very just like off the cuff and genuine to me that he's just sitting here talking to his audience. But I do have some specific things I want to say about that. He said in here that, well, he goes in and he talks about this lawsuit. So first of all, let's take a look at this lawsuit, okay? And I'm just going to talk about the major things that are on this lawsuit. Let me get into my receipts. Whitney. Okay, so apparently there are like 10 points to this lawsuit. The first point is failure to pay all wages upon separation. Now, supposedly, okay, she was in the hospital. This is his editor that he hired / producer that he moved her up into a producer role. She was supposedly making $72,000 a year, and she is now suing for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's what James says. And apparently she was in the hospital with a concussion, and she couldn't work, so that is supposedly the reason why she was terminated, okay? It is interesting to me that in this 7-minute video clip that he puts out, that he never said the real reason why she was terminated, or even addresses the reason why she was terminated to begin with. Because you would think if you were coming out and addressing all of these things that were being said about you, right? Because it's always about that, okay? It's always about the reputation versus the truth. He always wants to talk about what the reputation looks like of James Charles. Even when he talked about, you know, when these people use words like public persona, like if you caught that in there, James said, my public persona has always, I don't know what that means, okay? Does that mean who you are publicly is different than who you are personally? That's very interesting to me, right? And that's very telling of who he is behind the scenes. And he even said there's a lot going on behind the scenes that people don't know. He said this is a 2-year lawsuit that's been going on, and just now she's choosing to come out. And this is kind of why he wanted to address it, because he said that he feels like he is being like blackmailed or pushed into a corner, you know, because she's coming out and, you know, saying stuff now. So that was why he felt like he needed to make the statement, okay? So the first thing on the issue for complaint is the failure to pay all wages. The second is the failure to provide minimum wage compensation. She's making $72,000 a year, supposedly. So I don't know what the minimum wage is for an editor or producer in the state of California. But anyway, and then 3 is failure to provide overtime and double time compensation, because she said that she was having to do all this extra stuff, blah, 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 blah. 4, because he never hired another editor. So she was doing editing and she was also producing at the same time. Then 4 is waiting time penalties. 5 is disability discrimination. 6 is failure to provide reasonable accommodation. 7 is failure to engage in good faith interactive process. 8 is retaliation, 9 is retaliation, and 10 is wrongful termination. And I think Emily Baker she went through this and covered the entire thing on her channel. So you can go over there and you can check it out. Congratulations to Emily on hitting 100,000 subscribers on her channel. Did you guys go over there when she did the live stream for 100? It was so fun. I was in there. A bunch of other people came in there. She dyed her hair purple for all that, so I was very excited about that for her. Okay, so that's the lawsuit. It said in here that he says in here that he feels like he is being forced to make another public statement. And this is what I was saying earlier. It's like, you feel like you're being forced to do it? I mean, this is a choice. Nobody told you, hey, today when you wake up, you should get on Twitter, you know? And so I think when you look at a situation like this is yet again another situation where I feel like if James Charles has a public relations people, I don't know what they're telling him. I can't imagine in a situation like this where he has all these allegations that he has briefly kind of taken accountability for, and I think everybody has picked apart his accountability video, that then a person in public relations would be, you know, James, I think that a really good move for you would be to get on Twitter. Not Instagram, not in a YouTube video, but on Twitter, okay? And go make a statement of 7 minutes long where you're just recording yourself on a phone. That's going to seem very genuine. Hey, like, I need to talk to you guys. I immediately was like, whatever is about to happen, he is trying to get ahead of the story, right? Which is interesting because later in the video, let me go down here. He says, where is it at? Hold on a second, that there is now an interview, article that is coming out. And when I was watching this, I was like, did he say insider in there or whatever? I don't know if he did, but I don't think he did. I immediately was like, is this an insider article? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. If he said that in there, I missed it, okay? But I went over to Kat Tenbarg's Twitter because I wanted to see what she was saying about all of this. And interestingly enough, on 421, her Twin Peaks. That's me. I was just talking about that. Should you ever watch that show back in the day? Oh my God, I love that show. Kat Tenbarg, her twin... I can't with this crap anymore. Her pinned tweet, okay, is I did a deep dive into the history of allegations against James Charles starting in 2019, leading up to the last month. My email and DMs are open for tips, okay? So that was her pinned tweet. She then tweeted out, we're reporting everything out. Story will be coming soon. And then she also retweeted a tweet from Taylor Lorenz, who said, putting out a video to get ahead of a story almost always backfires because you only end up generating hype for the story. Which I thought was really interesting because when I was watching this, I was like, this is what James Charles is doing. He is putting this out there to get ahead of the story. I don't think he really thought this through. I really think that he should have sat down and thought about what he really wanted to say in this video. I can't imagine an attorney would tell you that this is a good move to get on social media when you literally have not spoken for the past several weeks, that your return, even though you say this isn't your return, but it is a return because it's you know, like finally not being silent anymore about something. Your return is to not address all of this other situations that's going on, that instead you're going to talk about this, which then makes me wonder, is this a deflection tactic? Are you trying to get everybody's attention off of the other allegations, and you're instead wanting to talk about this? Because if you can get everybody talking about this lawsuit, right, which is going to be several $100,000, whatever. He says in there at one point that he has never paid anybody to talk about him or not talk about him, and he's not going to start now, right? That seemed on brand for James Charles. Now, I don't know if he has paid anybody to talk about a story or not talk about a story. I do know that he's dipped into quite a few drama channels' DMs or texted them, giving them information to make a story on. So to say, you can say that however you want to say it, but to be privy to information that only James knew, I think that is kind of feeding out a story a little bit. So for him to say that he's never done that before, I kind of was like, really, James? Like, that's not true. Like, several times you've done that, okay, with people. So anyway, I really think he's trying to get ahead of this story, or if he's trying to get ahead of this story, the PR move could be, if we can get enough people talking about this, because I can tell you everybody's talking about it today, this will deflect off of the allegations. I don't think it was a smart move, because what's happening now is that everybody's talking about the allegations again, right? So, I don't know that it was the smartest move if that was really what he was trying to do. He said he's been offline trying to learn to be better, and that he's trying to learn about himself and reflect while talking to professionals. I think that's fantastic. I think that's, hopefully that is what he is doing. He said that he feels like he's being blackmailed and the situation is being taken advantage of. For example, using the time that we're going through right now while people are questioning him anyway to publicly talk about this lawsuit. And so I don't know about that. I do think it's interesting that if this lawsuit's been going on for 2 years, that she did now just finally come out and talk about it, right? Why didn't she not talk about it 2 years ago? Were her attorneys telling her not to? I know she recently talked about how she had sued another YouTuber, supposedly, allegedly. So he references that in the video clip as well. I don't know. It is interesting to me. The timing is very suspect. I will say that. But like, I think maybe she's like, this is the attention that I want for this. I feel screwed. And now people are going to pay attention to this and listen to it when 6 months ago they might not have. I don't know. Maybe she's wanting to feel vindicated. Who knows, Then James goes on to say that there is a story coming out about him. So this is a time so like I said, is this him trying to get ahead of the story? He goes on to say that she was paid $72,000 a year for being an editor and later a producer. He says that the lawsuit has been going on for 2 years and they don't have a court date and this could take a very long time. Well, that's with any lawsuit though, And he has never paid anyone to stay silent before, and he's not going to start now. He says that she's making statements in an interview, that when she was interviewed for this article apparently, and the purpose of that is to pressure him into paying her much more, hundreds of thousands of dollars more than he would have to pay for her under the stipulations if he were to settle, if that makes sense, because he doesn't want the story to come out, is basically what he's alleging. So what he's saying is, okay, this person that works for him is going to make all these statements, and this is what James wants you to know, okay, that this person who is suing me, all right, she's trying to get me to settle for hundreds of thousands of dollars more than what she would win if she wins this case, right? The way that she is doing that is she is going to publicly talk about me, number one, and get everybody because he talks about the court of public opinion. Well, I mean, James, you knew that since day one on YouTube, right? And James has used the court of public opinion to his advantage as well. And that's kind of one of the things for me that, remember he put his video out, No More Lies, and he had the tweets and whatever, and talked about all of that and got everybody to side this way or side that way. James knew what he was doing, okay? James was playing judge and jury in that moment of the court of public opinion. To then later come out and complain about the court of public opinion, I'm sorry, James, but that's the court you play in, okay? That's where you chose to live. So yes, there is a court of public opinion when people get to make their own decisions. When you have viewers and you have an audience, they get to make their own decisions about what they think about situations like that. I'm sorry, did you not know that? Are you new? Did you just learn this yesterday? You've used the court of public opinion to your advantage. So stop crying us a river about how it's not working to your advantage anymore, And this is the thing for me about how James is. It's like James is willing to play until things don't go his way, and then he wants to take his toys and go home. Like he wants to complain and go and say, this isn't fair, this isn't working my way, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying that she isn't like wrong in all of this. Hell, I don't know from just what I'm saying, right? But this is what James wants you to know, okay? That there's going to be an article that's coming out, and the article is going to look so bad that the court of public opinion is going to screw him, okay? It is just going to really affect him. So before that article comes out with these things that she is saying, everything from the fact that he is so lazy that she had to get him out of bed in the morning to even film a video, to the fact that he uses racist language on the heels of a bunch of like supposed alleged old tweets that he said he has no responsibility for coming out over the last weekend. He wants you to know, okay, that there is no truth to what she is saying at all. So when you read that article, remember that, okay, and read it with a grain of salt, because I'm not going to let anybody talk about me in this way. And when this comes out, the court of public opinion is going to make their decision. That's what he wants you to know. That's what he's really saying in this, okay, is that everything in this article is a lie, because apparently whoever was interviewing him for this article was asking him, first of all, if somebody called me and said, I'm going to be doing an article on you and blah, 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 whatever. If I was James Charles in the situation that he's in right now, I would say I have to have an attorney on the phone call while I answer these questions. If he is just sitting on a phone with somebody saying, hey, sure, ask me whatever you want to ask me. Well, did you do this? Why did you terminate her? Did, you know, on and on and on. I mean, like, this stuff could be used in a lawsuit later. This stuff could, I mean, is he thinking this through? Does James have an attorney? Does he have public? I mean, does he have somebody that's around him looking at? I mean, it baffles my mind, okay, that you would just get on, and no offense to the person doing the interview, they probably got a great interview, right? But like, are you seriously, you wouldn't sit there and go, maybe I should consult an attorney first, and maybe he did. I don't know, right? It didn't sound that way from what he said in the 7-minute dissertation, though. So then he goes on to say, that's what the point of these the interview that's coming out is to pressure him into paying a lot more money, right? And that's where he says he's never paid anybody to stay silent before, and he's not going to do this before, which is him making a statement of saying, like, I've never paid anyone to stay silent, and I want you to know that too. So he's getting in a lot of different things, right? He then goes on to talk about the court of public opinion and whatever, and I said at the very end that he just seems very angry to me that he has to do this. He seems bothered again, you know? Like, James comes on, he looks completely fine, he looks like his hair's done, you know? He's sitting there in a little sweater, and he's like, okay, like, I want to talk to you guys, I want to talk to my fans, and whatever. Almost like it was this contrived thing to seem like I just came up from the pool, and now let me sit here and talk to you guys about what hell my life is right now, and I've got to address the statement, because his former public. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry that you're going through all this. You know, I mean, I think like this is part of what maybe they don't realize that they're signing up for. You know, I think this would be a good lesson to a lot of younger people that their dream is to be a YouTuber. You know, there's a lot that goes along with that. You know what I'm saying? I'd also like to I'd be interested to see all the contracts that are in place with his hiring this person and whatever. You know, I don't know. It's just like, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens with this. I'm dying to read this article. I'm dying to see it. And now I put out last night on Twitter, and I haven't read any of the responses yet, but I want to see what some people said. I put up on Twitter last night the video clip, and I said I just put thoughts with it, and I want to see what people had to say. How many responses does this have? 117 comments on it. So let's just go underneath here and see what some people had to say. He had to something though, her salary to prove she wasn't paid. Honey, $72,000 a year when you're working around the clock for someone is nothing. Get over yourself. Well, I mean, it would depend on what he's making a year, you know? I mean, if James Charles was willing to put on paper what he made a year, then whatever she's making as the producer and the editor, which is basically she's running the show other than sitting down on the front of camera and being the face of James Charles, that is a lot, you know? Like, that is a lot that she's doing, you know? I also think that $72,000 a year is a really fantastic salary for a lot of people. You know, somebody put underneath here, there are doctors and lawyers that aren't making $72,000 a year, and that's the absolute truth. You know, so, I mean, $72,000 is a lot of money. I don't know what editors and producers make in California. So anyway, someone said, always best to preempt damage control, but I would have thought if documented allegations have no truth in them, it would be easy to block release, and surely there would be some evidence before publication. It just smells odd to me, but people will believe what they want to. Someone said there are two very different issues going on in his life right now. Things he's admitted to doing and the lawsuit by a former employee. I can see the difference in these situations and understand his frustration with the lawsuit. No one should assume he's guilty in both situations, which that's a fair statement. I do think that's a fair statement. Someone said, I'm curious about this article because he is more afraid of what... I will say this, it's interesting, you know, like I saw somebody say this yesterday. I don't know where I saw it. So anyway, I credit whoever it goes to. But somebody said that... you know, James Charles is, unlike a lot of these influencers, somebody that actually comes out and addresses situations. And I will say that. I mean, he did come out and address the allegations. It wasn't what everybody wanted, but he did, you know, and he's addressing this situation. But he seemed angry in both situations, you know, and he says he's embarrassed and all that, and I get that. And maybe that's the developmental, emotional part of it, you know, that he's lacking that we're not seeing yet. I don't know. Someone said, I'm curious about this article because he is more afraid of what this article is saying about him than what the allegation said about him. This article must have some really troubling things in it if he is on defense before it even comes out. Interesting. Someone said his tactic of casually applying his validity in the past scandals in combination with linking the scandal he's in now that he has admitted to is interesting. Especially as he does this before he comments on the validity of his old employee statements. Very, very true. Someone said, some parts were very genuine, but he's trying to deflect and give perception of getting ahead in the game. I would agree with that. Someone said, it just seems like this is going to be taken as him trying to get the heat of his crimes to die down a bit, whether the lawsuit is true or not. Someone said he should have kept his mouth shut. I'm not a lawyer, but if everything goes as planned, I'll be one next year. Oh, congratulations. I fired a client that did this, talked about ongoing litigation, but that's just me. I do think that's interesting. All these people always talk online about their, you know, lawsuits. Someone said, I needed to pause at 2 minutes. So he needed assistance with filming and uploading 3 videos a week. Doesn't Peter Monn upload at least 4 to 5 videos every day without assistance? It's ridiculous. And I ain't paying nobody $72,000 a year. That's foolishness. Someone said, is he incapable of showing humility? If this were true, I would want to feel bad for him. But his personality makes it almost impossible, let alone his behavior from the scandals that are yet to be resolved. He gives off such SHI energy. Yeah, and then someone said, I try not to think of the vapidness that is James Charles, which is an interesting comment. Someone said, I believe him in this. He's not playing the victim this time. He actually is, and you can tell it from his mannerisms. He's truly angry about it, and maybe that's the anger that we're seeing. That's a fair statement. Someone said, he keeps talking about how justice will be served for this, yet what he has legit confessed to is arguably worse, and where's the justice for that? Someone said, this seems less contrived than his apology video, maybe because he's not apologizing, rather defending himself. James is good at defending himself, and less so at apologizing. Perhaps he's more comfortable defending himself than genuinely taking responsibility for inappropriate behaviors. There you go. Someone said, I'm not a fan of his, but looking at just this situation, I think he's telling the truth. Super convenient timing to start talking about it on her end. And interesting that this isn't her first suit like this. Her tweet about winning the first came off very braggy. And I don't have the tweet, but I remember reading it, and I did feel that way as well. So there's, you know, 2 sides to every story. 3 sides, you know, people say. His, hers, and the truth. And then the one that we make up, and that's called the narrative. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.